I got the first rank in the state of Karnataka in the year 1980. In the year 1984, I got into the State Bank of India as an officer. In 1987, I got selected to the IPS and I joined the IPS. In the year 1989, I experienced the first near-death experience in the sea. In the year 1991, I was badly injured in the world's first human bomb assassination. In the year 2002, I was selected for the Queen's Award for Innovation in Police Training and Development. In the year 2013, I won the President's Medal for Distinguished Service. In the year 2021, I retired after completing 34 years of service in the IPS. I am Prateep V.Philip, IPS retired, and this is my story. Change challenges us, but challenge changes us. All the time there is change happening in the world, but the challenge that we set for ourselves, that has a powerful effect on us. This is what I discovered in the course of my life from my early days. As a student, I heard one of my teachers saying, aim for the stars and you will hit the treetops. So that meant that we should aim for something far beyond our reach, which is highly challenging. And that will lead to us improving ourselves dramatically to be transformed and even achieving much higher than we would normally ever be able to do. So as a student, I set a rank as my challenge, one of the top 10 ranks in the state of Karnataka. At that time, I was an average student. But in the year 1979, I set a goal that I must achieve within 1 year one of the top 10 ranks in the whole state. And when I aimed for it, I was still getting only a high first class. But after some time, I began to improve, keep on improving. So the secret of excellence is to keep on improving. Whatever you are in life, whoever you are, you must keep on improving in whatever you are doing. And ultimately, you will hit the bullseye, the target. Of course, my faith was of great help to me. I spent time in prayer. I spent time reading the scripture. And that enabled me to get the inspiration to work harder and achieve the goal. But the story is not over yet. So excellence is a process which has 4 stages: aspire, perspire, achieve, inspire. These 4 stages are distinct. Sometimes they run together. So first you have to aspire for something which is very difficult. In whatever domain you are in, if you are a student, aspire for something very difficult for you to achieve. So I aspired for one of the top 10 ranks when I was just a first class student. I used to get a first class without too much of study. But when I aspired for one of the top 10 ranks in the state, I was studying in Bangalore in St. Joseph's Boys High School. And when this teacher told me, I was just an ordinary student. Then after I set this challenge, my methodology changed. I got new method as if I was inspired. So when you aspire, you will be inspired. You begin to learn from those who are better than you. And I began to learn from the best students, how they study. And they started showing me the way. The better way to study is not just by reading, but by writing whatever you want to learn. And then reviewing whatever you write over and over and over again. So thousands of revisions. So when the examination came, I had done thousands of revisions. And so when the results came, my parents got a phone call saying that your son has stood first in the entire state of Karnataka out of 1 lakh students. And I gave thanks to God because I also believed that God will give me the resources, the strength. So we have to do our part of working very hard and then God will add to it His supernatural grace. And this is what happened. I was aiming for one of the top 10 ranks, but I ended up getting the first class first, or the first rank out of 1 lakh students, first time in my life. Same time I said I must set another goal, that I must get National Talent Search Scholarship. And when I wrote the exam, I felt I had done well. And I was called to the Madras University for the first time to attend the interview, the National Talent Search Scholarship interview. And as I was questioned, they asked me, have you always been a first class first student, an excellent student? I said, no, I am just a mediocrity striving for excellence. And as an average person, I set a challenging goal, and that transformed my life. So this is the second victory I had. Again, I've written a saying which says, a victory that is easily won is easily lost. So after these 2 victories, I set a goal that I must join the All India services. Now there was nobody in my family who has joined the All India service, either IAS, IFS, IPS. And I had set this almost impossible goal that I should join one of the prestigious elite All India services. I knew that I would be facing challenges from the best students, the cream of academia, from all domains, from all universities. The first time I wrote the exam, I was already a State Bank of India probationary officer. Even the State Bank of India probationary officer exam was a challenge for me. But I went and did well in the paper after a lot of practice. And I knew that I would be selected. So my first job I got while I was doing my first year MA. But you see, when you set challenging goals, people also will come to your help. So my professor said, you have finished first year, but don't give up on second year. Even as a bank officer, we'll allow you to do the second year exam. And again, I got a 3rd rank in the university in political science and international relations. But I was not satisfied with just a bank job. I needed a career which would be equally challenging. And the police service, IPS, is one of the most challenging services anyone can ever think of. And in the year 1987, again, God enabled me to succeed in being selected for the IPS. And I was allotted to Tamil Nadu. Now in that IPS, I faced the biggest challenges in life. Once when I was on training in the district of Tuticorin, I accompanied a large party of people on a weekend along with the district SP. He was an adventurer. He formed an adventure club, and regularly he used to go to a coral island near Tuticorin. And I had accompanied him once or twice before that. And I asked him, sir, is it safe? I am just learning to swim. He said, no problem, Philip. You go even 100 meters, water will come only up to your shoulder. It is like a pool. There are no currents. It is safe. And so on that particular Sunday, I remember, we all had our breakfast. And then I began to do snorkeling. I swam a couple of times up and down. And at that point in time, everybody looked at me and they thought I'm swimming well. They took their eyes off me. But I went a little deeper. And at that point, when I tried to rest, I found the water several feet above my head. And I panicked. I came to the surface thinking that my bike orderly, a tall constable, would see my hand as I lifted it above the sea surface. But apparently he was also having his breakfast. He did not see me. Next thing, I was drowned. And when a man came in to pick me up at the orders of the SP, he saw blood-stained foam on my face. He felt my pulse. There was no pulse. There was no breath. My body was cold as a fish. He slung me on his shoulder like a dead fish and brought me to the shore and declared, his story is over. But friends, the story was not over. The head constable Moses lifted me on his shoulder. He brought me to the shore, laid me on the sand. My boss, he was an agnostic at the time. He did not believe in God, he had told me. But he looked towards the shore and shouted with a loud voice, "Oh God!" I think God heard his cry and gave him the inspiration to revive me. He had never done CPR before that. But from what he had read, he began pressing my ribs with his powerful elbows. Somebody told him even the ribs might break. He said, "What is the use of intact ribs for a dead man? Let me try to revive him." And he continued to press hard. A lot of water came out. After a long time, a first breath of life again came. I said, a deep breath. That was life coming back into my body. And somebody asked me some question, "What is that ring on your finger?" He wanted to test whether I was conscious. I said, "That is my engagement ring. I had just been engaged a week before." So sometimes in life disasters happen, like this pandemic has happened around the world, and people have been taken by shock, by surprise. But what these challenges taught me is that one has to confront any situation with bravery, with confidence, with faith in God. And so next day I went and gave thanks to God. I knelt in a church on the same shore which was facing that island in Tuticorin, and I thanked God. I did not know why this had happened. I knew that God has complete knowledge. In his foreknowledge, he knows what is going to happen even before it happens. But why did he allow this to happen? I did not understand. But the story is not over yet. Fast forward another year and a half. By the time I had become a full-fledged ASP in charge of Kanchipuram district, Kanchipuram subdivision rather. On May 19th, I was told by my district SP that the former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi is coming for election campaign. The year 91, month was May. I went to Sriperumbudur and made all arrangements. I advised the organizers not to change the venue. They wanted to change the venue suddenly from a more secure, compounded school ground, which is a usual meeting place. They wanted to change that to an open, undulating ground. So we went along and did all that we would do, and we went even the extra mile. We deployed a lot of strength on all sides of that huge area. Sometimes things are out of our control, even if maybe in authority, in police, things may be beyond our control, many circumstances. Even then we have to continue to do our duty. On that fateful night when Rajiv Gandhi arrived, I went with my boss to receive him. We controlled the crowd as they tried to shake his hand and touch him. Then as I was trying to escort him and stand next to him, the SP told me, "It's all right, Philip, you go a little ahead." But the story is not over yet. So as Rajiv Gandhi was walking on the red carpet about 54 feet in length towards the stage where he is supposed to address, I was asked by the SP to move 3 feet ahead. So I moved just a few feet ahead, 3 feet ahead of the former Prime Minister. And I was trying to control the people ahead and also keeping an eye on the people lined up with shawls and garlands to greet the VIP. When he came to a girl dressed in white, she had been given permission by the organizers to read a Hindi poem eulogizing Rajiv Gandhi. At that point, there was a surge of women from behind. I had put a TSP cordon on the instruction of the IG in charge, overall in charge. So there was a strong one TSP SI and a large contingent of TSP personnel lined up behind to prevent any infiltration. But because this girl was reading the poem, her mother and some other women, they got a clearance from the organizers and the VIP, and they were allowed to come in. At that point, you'll see in photographs later, the assassin mingled with them, wearing very colorful dress. But inside that colorful dress, she had packed a powerful bomb. She had herself become a human bomb. She had strapped herself. And as Rajiv Gandhi listened to the poem and was acknowledging it, these women surged and surrounded him. And the VIP, seeing this assassin holding a garland, that was the bait. And he lowered his head to receive the garland, but instead of keeping the garland around his neck, she seemed to be bending forward to press a switch. And she pressed a switch at her waist, a toggle switch. And that detonated a very powerful bomb, with the world's first human bomb or woman bomb. The woman's head got cut and it went and landed more than 100 feet away in the D in front of the stage. What happened to the rest of us? I was thrown in the air. I was unconscious initially, but because I was young, not even 30 at the time, as I told you, I had gone to see my newborn daughter on May 11th, just 10 days before, and returned to Kanchipuram. The SP told me, "Have you seen your daughter's horoscope?" I said, "No sir, I don't believe in horoscope. I believe in God. He takes care of me. He has taken care of me when I drowned to death and revived me." This was my thought as he said those words. And that's exactly what happened. I was thrown in the air, but was badly injured. I had 20% burns. All these bones were fractured by the shock wave. Even the shock wave killed some people. In my case, miraculously, the steel pellets, 100 of them, still embedded in my parts of my body, both bone and flesh. Even the pelvic bone acted as a shield. My hands have steel pellets. You can touch some of them here and there. But majority are very deep. There's a 1 in a billion chance that I could have escaped. But as it is written in Psalm 91, which is the psalm of my testimony, "Blessed is the man who finds his shelter in the shadow of the Almighty. 1,000 may fall beside him, 10,000 at his right hand, but it," meaning death, "shall not come near him." I was injured. And that also there is a psalm. Psalm 119 says, "It good that I was afflicted, that I might learn his holy will." And that's how I learned his holy will, that I should be a witness of God, to make all people friends of God. That is one of the lessons I learnt from this terrible experience. The story is not over yet. After I was injured, one inspector came and picked me up. I said I can walk in my pride, but he said, "No sir, you cannot walk. You are badly injured. I have to carry you." He picked me up and put me in the back of a jeep. And he said, "I have to go back because 40 people are lying injured and many are dead. I cannot come with you." That's what he was saying. But a young man with a torn shirt volunteered to climb into the jeep, and he held my head in his lap, blood-stained face in his lap. And I was very thirsty because I had lost a lot of blood because I was lying in that mud for half an hour. Till one of the leaders said, "Why don't we remove the survivors?" As I was thirsty, I cried out for water. And this man, young man, he gave me drops of water. That story became the inspiration for the idea of Friends of Police, which I am known around the world. Friends of Police movement was launched by me within another 1 year, when I became District SP of Ramnad district. And today it is a household name all over Tamil Nadu and all over the world. People may not understand what is community policing, but they'll understand immediately what is Friends of Police. And everywhere I go, I find people who have either been Friends of Police or know about Friends of Police. So through this disaster, I learnt a big lesson that your greatest success can come from your biggest failure also, from your biggest disaster, biggest challenge. And I won the 2 big awards. The British Scholarship for Excellence and Leadership, a flagship award of the British government instituted on India's Golden Jubilee to select 12 future leaders of the country from all professions. In another 5 years, the British government announced a new award meant for the entire world, police officers to apply as well as ministerial staff, called Queen's Award for Innovation in Police Training and Development. And my idea of Friends of Police was selected, and I won £15,000 which I used to set up a training center and headquarters, which was my dream, for Friends of Police in Chennai. And with that we have trained and disseminated the idea around the world. And this movement I continue to lead even as a refired, not a retired officer, but as a refired officer. I retired in the month of September when I completed 60. But I don't think I am retired, I am refired and resurrected officer. So I continue to serve society, the community and the police in a variety of ways. But the main thing I am now doing is writing. And about 30 books which I have written over the last 10 years by blogging every day is being published in this year, 2022, by the grace of God. I've already published 2 big books in that series of meditations called For Better Through Verse and Word Empowered Life. And this has inspired a lot of people around the world. It contains my story and the lessons I've learned from it. But this is my magnum opus, Philippism's 3,333 maxims to maximize your life. So this book, I wrote every day 1 or 2 lines and compiled 33 chapters. In each chapter there are 101 sayings. So if I take at random any page, there is something to encourage any human being, something to make you think of achieving greater things in life, of serving more, of being inspired. For example, in page 70, I just turned by random. The 99th Philippism says, we fail to take hold of the intensity of the moment in order to try to grasp the chimera of the future that never seemed to arrive. I mean, instead of living in the present moment and enjoying it, we are always postponing our life to achieve something which we don't have right now. So as a result, we postpone our life, we postpone our happiness. Instead, we must be intense in this present moment. As you're listening, as I'm speaking, this present moment, understand, appreciate, enjoy. Even that we are able to see things, that is itself a great experience. If a blind man can see what we are seeing, if a deaf man can hear what you are hearing, they would be so full of intensity, so full of joy, so full of experience. We must imagine we are like that blind man or the deaf person who could not hear. And then you will begin to rejoice and enjoy every moment. Rejoice in the Lord. And I say again, rejoice. So we have to keep on bubbling in joy, bubbling with excitement. This is the meaning of just this one line. Of course, as you think about it, each of you will get a different meaning from every line in this book, which is 3,333. This is the world's largest collection of sayings, original sayings, from A to Z of life by a single individual in all languages. This I dedicated by the grace of God for the glory of God. It is the only book which has got a world record and an Asian record, and it is an Amazon bestseller. This is my story. I believe it will be encouraging to many of you. It may be inspirational to many of you. Some of you could take life lessons from my journey. But of course, the story continues.